know what's got to be one of the most amazing things to me? What's really amazing to me personally is how classic IPs like Lord of the Rings, for example, or anything that was made within the last 30 some odd years that is known to be such a classic story, or even further than that, like Lord of the Rings. Still, with that being said, what's amazing to me is that Lord of the Rings is being used as some sort of political tool now. It's being used because they know that people are very passionate about it. They know people love the Lord of the Rings. They know that they love Tolkien's work. And now it's being used to be pushed as some sort of like alt-right propaganda. It's very strange. Almost to the point that now the British government is apparently believing this and is trying to do something about it. They believe that if you read Tolkien's work, you are going to become some sort of far-right lunatic. It's absolutely insane, and I cannot believe that they're doing this, especially since Tolkien wrote his stories based off that lore for his time. But we're going to get into the article, guys. This one comes from us from good old Bounding Into Comics, and it says, the British government reportedly believes radicalization into the far right can occur from reading Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, Aldous Huxley, and George Orwell. That is fucking insane to me. That is insane to me. That is some of the most beloved stories of all time, literally of all time. And the fact that they are trying to downplay it as some sort of political thing, like, I don't even know why this is even coming up in the first place. Lord of the Rings was never about that. Lord of the Rings was your escape from the real world that a lot of people enjoyed, that they took part in, that they saw themselves in, to use a modern day lingo that is so fucking cringy. But yes, they saw themselves in Lord of the Rings, myself included. I thoroughly enjoy Tolkien's work, and to think that it leads to far rightism or whatever you want to call it, it's insane. It's such a bad talking point from people who want to be angry at this stuff, so they just find means to try to downplay it. They try to villainize it. That's what they try to do. They try to villainize Tolkien's work, because then when they change it, and you know they're going to continue to change it, it justifies their actions. They can say, oh, look, we're changing this to be more representative of the world, because back when J.R.R. Tolkien wrote it, he was a racist bastard. That's basically what they're trying to say. But let's see what the article has to say. So it says, a new report from author Douglas Murray details that the British government reportedly believes radicalization into the far right can occur from reading a number of authors, including Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, Aldous Huxley, and George Orwell. Writing in The Spectator, author Douglas Murray revealed he viewed a number of documents from the United Kingdom's Research, Information, and Communications Unit that show the agency is now attempting to address right-wing extremism. Yes, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to literally compare right-wing extremism to Lord of the Rings and J.R.R. Tolkien and other known authors. It's crazy to me. It's insane. It says one of the documents he viewed contained a reading list of historical texts which produced red flags to RICU. I'm going to make this very clear, just right off the bat. If reading J.R.R. Tolkien makes me a right-wing extremist, then I guess I'm going to have to wear the hat, because he has some of the most fantastic stories known to man, and you're trying to villainize this man who is not even alive to defend himself, mind you. You're trying to villainize this man, and his work is heavily loved. It's so loved that it is probably the #2 most printed book series of all time, next to the Bible. So goes to show that there must be a lot of right-wing extremists in the world. It says, according to Murray, this list included Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan, John Locke's 2 treatises of government, and Edmund Burke's Reflection on the Revolution in France. He also noted it contains select works by Thomas Carlyle and Adam Smith. It says Murray goes on to claim elsewhere RICU warns that radicalization could occur from books by authors including C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, Aldous Huxley, and Joseph Conrad. In fact, Murray details that George Orwell's 1984 is also on this list of books that produces red flags to RICU. Of course, 1984 is on that list. Is anybody surprised that 1984 is on the list that they deem scary? I mean, it's so on the nose at this point. Like, come on. Obviously, they are scared of 1984 because that book is so accurate to what's going on in today's modern world that, yeah, of course they're going to want to silence that book. Why would they not? Why would they not? It basically exposes everything that's going on, or the mindsets that happen in people that are trying to push modern day agenda, and that's what's happening currently in today's world. So when people reference 1984, they reference it for a reason, because there is a lot of things in there that are happening currently, right now, in today's world. It's happening, it's clear as day, and it is very, very scarily accurate. So it doesn't surprise me that the British government wants to get rid of that book, or at least do something about it. It says he also knows that the books weren't the only things that Riku saw as red flags. The agency also reported flagged British TV shows Civilization, The Thick of It, and Great British Railway Journeys. Wow, they're practicing all kinds of censorship there. That's interesting. An independent review of Prevent, a program that encompasses RICU, seemingly found that the strategy was capturing mainstream politicians, commentators, or publications, and its web for identifying ideological extremism. Well, why don't you focus on extreme left-wing ideology, which is way more destructive than I've seen of any extreme right-wing ideology? I'm not trying to pick a side here, but ultimately, I gotta say, one of us had a summer of love and the other one did not. So the summer of love belonged to the far left, and they wore it with pride. They caused billions of dollars in damages, and it only happened over a few months, and they did it for a god-awful stupid reason. It says, in the British government's response to this review, a forward by Home Security Swella Braverman, Ravix Prevent has defined the extreme right wing too broadly so that it sometimes draws in right wing and center right politicians and commentators. A recommendation from the review also states reset thresholds to ensure proportionality across Prevent work streams. Prevent must work to one bar across the ideological threats. This should apply to all teams and products, including national, regional, and local delivery, referrals and the channel process, RICU and Homeland Security, analysis and inside products, training, and Prevent-funded counter-narrative work via civil society organizations and other funded projects. The fact that they're even using taxpayer-funded dollars to try to do something like this is insane to me. You, as a citizen, is literally paying for the censorship of your own country at this point. That's what they want to do. They want to use publicly funded dollars to try to prevent right-wing extremism while leaving left-wing completely open to run amok. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But of course, it's not supposed to make any sense. This is their entire playbook, and that's why they want to get rid of books like 1984. It says, to continue, the bar should not be set so high as to only include concerns related to the most established terrorist organizations, nor so low as to capture mainstream politicians, commentators, or publications. Prevent duty guidance should be amended to clarify this new standard. It says the British government responded to this recommendation and appeared to admit the strategy had lost its focus on ideological extremism. We accept this recommendation and agree it is important to have one consistent and proportionate threshold across all extremist ideologies and work streams. We will review our threshold at each stage of Prevent delivery, including identification, assessment, prioritization, and decision-making, and apply this at the national, regional, and local level. We will ensure designated Prevent leads across our statutory sectors have the training and support they need to provide effective advice on the threshold for referrals. Through our work to develop the new Prevent assessment framework, we will better define the criteria used to determine whether a case should be considered for channel intervention. I like that word, intervention. That's amazing. That's a good way of saying censorship. This will ensure thresholds are proportionate and consistent across ideologies, the government concluded. Any side that is for censoring, and they particularly only talk about one side, there's no way in hell they're going to enforce that evenly across all sides, because that's not what this is about. They don't want to enforce this across all sides. They may be saying that publicly, but let it be known, they fully intend on only censoring one particular side. And if you think that's going to be the left, I have a whole bridge to sell you. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.